guys, to everyone. I'm Ada from Poison Rock, and today we give a huge welcome back to our friend guest Keith St.John. First of all, Keith, how are you?
I'm great. Poison Rock, Ada, so good to see you again. I missed you.
Me
I am
too.
good. I am good.
It's been a lot, really, like 2 years almost. And of course, I mean, last time we spoke, you didn't. Basically recorded. You were working on behind the stage because of the COVID shit. So now there is.
Right.
I basically ended. I saw that you went on Sweden Rock with Kingdome. So let's update a little bit how it's been coming back to the stage, so to the live
Coming
shows.
back to the live. Well, it's interesting because around May last year,
Yeah.
this is after we spoke last time.
Yeah, exactly.
So you wouldn't have known a guy by the name of, they call him Sir Harry, a
Okay.
guy by the name of Harry Cowell. He owns the show called Raiding the Rock Vault
Okay.
in Las Vegas, which many of my friends have been playing on for years.
Yes.
Doug Aldrich from Burning Rain, he
Yeah.
played on that show for years when they started out. I actually substituted in once in a while for Robin McCauley
Okay.
back in the early days when they were at the Las Vegas Hilton, which is the known as the Elvis Hotel, right? That's the
Okay.
famous Elvis Hotel.
Oh wow.
But then the show moved. It moved to a few different venues,
Okay.
and I was a substitute once in a while that they would call when they needed somebody, because I was pretty active touring, doing my own stuff, you know.
Yeah,
So
you always been like,
I wasn't really, yeah.
yeah, you always been super busy.
I've always
Yeah.
been the pinball, right, in the machine. But so they called me. It was a good time because, as you say, it was kind of
Yeah.
as COVID was still resolving and not resolved yet. And
Yeah.
so I went in and I tried the show, and we play, you know, I sing like Stairway to Heaven
Oh
and
my
stuff
God,
like
the
this, you know.
classics.
And right. And like, you know, we do like Dream On and like all that stuff that you would never do like in your cover band when you're a kid, because
Yeah.
they're those sacred songs that you don't really touch, because if you mess them up, you look like crap.
And the
But
crowd
they have
kiss
such a
you.
good production down at Rock Vault and such a good professional group of musicians and
Wow.
also tech support and the sound and lights that they can really pull those songs off and make them sound good. So I started doing that show,
Yeah.
and it was kind of fun. And then they asked me if, you know,
He wanted
how
to
much I
move.
want to do. I said, well, just book me for everything you got right now. And so I was doing 5 nights a week for a
Okay,
while
it's
up
okay.
there,
Okay, I guess it's like it's a really like a full-time job almost.
along with another friend of yours that you
Yeah.
just saw, Todd Kearns.
Yeah, exactly. High
Uh,
toads, just like
so and Todd is a lovely, lovely
yeah.
person, and it's been my pleasure to get to know him. And
Yeah.
you know, between songs, you know, we hang out backstage and we talk about stuff, and there's all kinds of great personalities and musicians there. Rowan
Yeah.
Robinson from Dio is one of the
Yeah.
guitar players. Blas Elias.
Blast Lives, yeah, as well. And I mean, Slaughter, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Bonnie
Yeah,
Rain, of course.
yes, of course.
So
So, you know,
it's a yeah, it's like an old mate for you,
one of
Blast.
my schemes, you know, when I was asked was, oh, that's great, because I want Blast to play on my record, and we've already talked about it, and we were already working on it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's great. I'll spend time out there in Vegas, and we'll get it done faster. You know,
Yeah.
so that was one of my big motivations, was actually that Blast was there to keep on going with that stuff. But along the way, I've met lots of really great musicians, and
Yeah.
it's been a good run because it was a good timing.
Yeah.
Because a one factor was James Kotak from Kingdome, the drummer.
Okay.
He needed some time off from the band because
Okay.
he's had some health issues. I don't really want to say too much about it, but he's had
That's
some
fine.
personal health issues, and he's been working on resolving and getting, you know, getting care and everything.
Get him back.
And while he's doing that, coincidentally, we got Blast to fill in on drums on some Kingdome gigs.
Oh, really? That's cool.
But since my point is, since the touring slowed down with Kingdome,
Yeah.
I kind of had time to keep on doing the Rock Vault.
Yeah.
And
And today became, and today it's like something that is basically like a show, a stable live shows.
It's a stable live show. It's it's like having a day job. You
Yeah.
show up each day at the same time and you do your
Yeah.
job and you
And,
go home.
and right now, like you said, there is a perform into different cities.
Rating the Rock Vault?
Yeah,
No, just Las Vegas.
just Las Vegas. So basically, the upcoming shows about for riding the rock vault is gonna be like around February, March, April, May. But it's gonna be
Upcoming shows. Right now it's as of the first of the year, it went back down to 3 days a week, which works out really great for me because
because you
you
can
know, I
focus.
started working more and
Yeah,
I have a recording set up in California. I have a recording set
Okay.
up in Las Vegas now, in Henderson, Las Vegas. And it's comfortable and it works, but I need time to do it. And since I'm a
Yeah.
singer, I don't want to sing shows every day. So it
I
kind of
mean,
works.
you need, of course, your voice needs to rest. Yeah.
So
The
I can
vocals.
record, right? That makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's all making sense. And the universe is just,
Pushing. Yeah.
hey, dude, you need this. So
Yeah.
I'm taking this away and adding this in. So
Oh yeah, of course, like I said you in the beginning, I remember that you were coming back with Sweden to play in Europe.
yes.
So how was that as well? Because we were in touch. I think it was a Sweden Rock Fest, something like that. You play with Kingdome there.
We did Kingdom Come at Sweden
Yeah.
Rock, yes. And that was the show. I hate to say this, it's really, but it's in the best interest of James and the band.
Yeah.
I think James should have started working on his health and what was happening with him earlier than that, earlier in the year, because he was already, I think, to the point. But I mean, James he has a youthful spirit, and he wants to keep on going. He's one of those guys that, at the last breath of life is going to be clawing and climbing up the cliff and playing drums and like going out there and doing it.
That's like a storm.
So,
yeah.
It was a hard situation, but at Sweden Rock, the band wound up getting some negative reviews in the press, and it was largely because of the performance on the drums. I hate to say it. And,
but I think that the main, I'm on the press as well, but I think that the main real review came from the audience, and for what I can see, they liked it.
Yeah, the audience liked it.
Yeah.
But the thing is there was a reviewer who is very popular, and I'm not going to name names.
No, just let's say with privacy. Yeah.
The same guy that back in the day, back in the late 80s, sorry, when they were playing, used to slag those guys for sounding like Zeppelin or whatnot. He used to give them negative reviews and stuff for that. So
sure, yeah.
I'm glad we are where we are, because it needed to happen, and James needs to get it back together so he's strong enough to play again. And,
he's one of the main band Kingdome come from the 80s that has that pure sound.
I mean, he was like the next coming of Bonham when he came out. So it's, he needs to be, at his best, or even at an 8 for James is like, a 20 for most people. So, even if he's at 7 or 8 out of 10, then we can go and get that going. In the meantime, Bless is doing a great job. The band continues playing live.
That's amazing.
I get to stay at home and produce and sing on different records and make videos.
Because there's as well a new project that we didn't speak about, Desert Dragon. I was reading, I was like, something changing this year? Something was
Desert Dragon. Okay, that's a very cool
because
it's a little project, but it could become a big project from guys from Southern California. And it also began in a time like during the COVID time when I had a lot of time on my hands. And these guys approached me with some music that it sounded like the 60s and the 70s. It was very like melting pot. Like one guy was from classical orchestra, the bass player, and
like Jefferson are playing something like that.
Another guy was like, it sounded like some of the guys from the Zombies got together with some of the guys from Blue Oyster Cult and like Kansas. This is some interesting stuff, man.
It's experimental. It's a whole experimental anyway. Yeah.
Well, what they allowed me to do once I started working with them is they said, well, Keith, we love what you do, man. Just do what you want with it, right? So you know, it allowed me just to get back to my roots and sing in, you know, an old-fashioned way, like kind of growing up and hearing that
Yeah,
kind
of
of stuff.
course.
I'm still me, my voice is still me, and you're gonna still get some of the songs, you're still gonna get that hard rock metal
Right.
influence,
Yeah.
but on a lot of the stuff, you know, it sounds like old Free or
Yeah.
you know, remember old Free with Paul
Yeah, yeah,
Rogers,
yeah,
or
yeah.
and it was refreshing to do it. And I actually think there's some really, really fun, very, very accessible songs on there that once the videos get made for these things
Yeah.
are going to be pretty cool to see up online. So
Yeah, because I mean, has been recently, I guess, released the first album, so it's a pretty
yes,
new as a project, and because it was really fun. Because of course, I mean, I like I told you, we get to know each other before speaking about Kingdome Come, Montrose, because of course, for
yes,
people that want to see previous interviews, we have like one or two, of course, but of course, I mean, you came from an amazing background. We spoke a lot about your past, the memories from the 80s. So, but I want to know like
yes.
a little bit about the memory of these last years. I mean, something really nice that happened to you, like, I don't know, while you were touring or while you were just recording. Just stay more in the present. That's, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Wait, was that a question?
Yes, yes. If something like nice or some nice memories about last years, while I don't know, touring or
Oh,
recording. Yeah.
well, all these things were nice memories. Going to Sweden and doing Sweden Rock with my pals. I mean, that was a great memory. They treat bands really well there, and
Yeah.
I met a lot of other bands. My friends were there. Night Ranger was there, so you
Really,
know, I
Night
got to hang
Ranger.
out with Brad and Jack, and you know, we don't get a lot of off time together because you know those guys work all the time,
Yeah,
and when they're not, you know, they're at home and they've got a lot of family business and other projects they're doing. So
exactly.
and with some other bands too, it was nice to kick back. Um, like I say, I mean, it was nice to connect with Todd Kearns and another gentleman, Michael T. Ross, keyboard
Michael T.
player.
Ross.
You might be familiar.
Yeah,
We've had some and Bloss. You know, we've had a lot of
yeah.
chance to
To
off time to hang out
yeah,
and get to know each other better. So these have been some pretty good times. And the
yeah.
recording stuff, like I said, it's been refreshing to do a lot more recording with different projects and
Projects.
stretch
Yeah,
out in different ways vocally.
yeah.
There's no one particular
Yeah,
like
remember. Yeah.
I did, you know what? I did take a trip just this past December to France.
Okay, okay.
And
To
I
friend. Yeah,
did visiting with a good friend of mine, Laurent Carrilla. I don't know if
yeah.
you're familiar with him. He's a journalist as well, but
No, no.
he's also a doctor,
Oh wow.
uh, and he's well known for his addiction therapies and his
And
cures
that's
for addictions to certain, especially drugs.
yeah, that's really a good job or important research in the field. Yeah.
He's helped a lot of people. Um, while I was there, we did a little bit of hanging out. I did a little bit of work, but we did one hangout that was really, really memorable with a band called Sortilege.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Sortilege?
No, completely. This is the first time
Okay,
you're
they're a
hearing.
French metal band.
Okay.
In the 80s, they started. They're
Oh,
huge.
oh my.
They're the biggest band that ever sang in the French language in
Oh,
metal.
I'm gonna definitely check them out.
And we sat, and I was there in the time to hang with them and do a listening party.
Yeah.
And one of the guys in the band, one of the guitar players,
Yeah.
since the 80s and everything, he's also become a pretty well-known producer. And we went to his house and he made a really nice big French spread, you know, like, you know, bring out the big
Yeah.
trough of bread and like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
stinky cheeses and wines and he made all this great stew and
yeah.
soup. So
Food
it
in
was an
Europe
amazing
is yeah.
day. And I played them some of the music I was working on, which I was honored they wanted to hear it. And it was a very, very memorable day
No,
being
this
out
is
there
good.
in the suburbs of Paris,
Yeah.
hanging out with these guys who were the biggest thing back in
Mhm.
the 80s. And now we're all a little older. And,
I mean,
you
just
know, just
let's different youth.
Yes, yes. Just watching the old videos of them and the latest videos of them. They did a reunion this past summer, and it was at one of the big festivals. I can't remember which one. It was maybe it was Hellfest. They
Yeah, it's
played.
the biggest. Yeah, it's the biggest
Yeah,
in
I
France.
think they
Yeah,
played Hellfest. They had a really good spot. I mean,
and
it was like how
Alpha
many
is huge. Yeah, that's something really. It's too big for going even at Alpha. You got lost in
80,000
there.
people
Yeah,
yelling sortilege, sortilege.
oh,
Um,
it's beautiful.
but the guys are great. It was great to meet them. I do want to do one plug here, if I can, on another thing that's coming up soon.
Oh my,
Uh,
there's a lot of things going on basically in
there's
this
yes,
year.
yeah. I said the pinball. I'm the pinball in the machine, and there's a guy in Holland named Ram Koolin
Okay.
who I've been working with, on and off over the years, and he's got a new record coming up,
And
and
okay.
before he does the record release, he's going to release a few singles. And for the first time in a long time on a side project that I've done, I heard a mix and I said, wow, this is actually done right. This is really good. Okay.
So you
The
gotta
stuff
go and other
when you put
people.
it out. So the first, I could say it now, the first single that's going to come out,
Okay.
maybe it sounds a little pretentious. The song's called Heavy Metal Till I'm Dead.
Oh, why?
Um,
It's not complete. It's not too pretentious. I mean, if you play heavy metal, just you have to claim it.
right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Because there is in the scene, of course, bands who play hard rock and heavy metal. But of course, hearing this music played from example, people like musician like you, or musician like Doug Aldrich, or I don't know, Joel Orchestra, or even singer like Leather Leona, Lauren Lewis. I mean, it's even more than refreshing because say, okay, this is not dead, it's still alive. So that's
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And I saw
But within
from
the next month or two, I'll be posting links to wherever this video
and I'm
is.
gonna share it whatever, like a pinball as well.
I've been working on it. I was last
That's
time I was in
important.
LA, I was upstairs at the Rainbow. I was upstairs at the Whiskey with a camera person shooting footage, and I shot footage in Vegas, and so it should be pretty cool. But his name is Ron Koolin, like Coolen, and
Well, cool.
I just want to say he's doing a great job at getting this
That's,
stuff together, and I
that's
think I'm
amazing.
be pretty happy to get behind this stuff and support
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, of course. I
And
mean, it's when that there is good music and people put really a huge effort on it. It's always beautiful to see, to talk about it, and to enjoy, especially.
oh, yes, I'm sorry. Another interesting fact. I'm
Tell me,
sorry. I know
so no, no,
we don't have a
tell
lot
me.
of time, so I
Yeah,
keep
but
jumping.
just
But
tell me. I'm curious. I want to know.
so when I was in Paris, my
Yeah.
idea was the song's called Heavy Metal Till I'm Dead. When I
Okay.
was in Paris, I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can get some interesting footage for this down at Jim Morrison's graveyard
Yeah.
site and that
Yeah.
whole cemetery. Because in a way, I'm like, okay, the rest of the verses in the song are all
Okay.
upbeat, but since you're saying heavy metal till I'm dead, maybe we can add a little bit of gothic
Okay. Okay.
visuals there to that. So we did as well.
We did it. Oh my God, it's like a kind of as well a tribute to the biggest in the hard rock scene and the music
absolutely,
scene. That's amazing to honor
absolutely. And,
them.
the lucky thing was this was in December
Okay.
and it was freezing outside. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course, in Europe,
so
in France.
nobody was there. Otherwise, this place would have been packed because it's usually
Yeah.
packed all year
Yeah.
long. But there was nobody there. It was hard to take off the jacket, and do the shoot, but we did it
Yeah,
and
I
we
mean,
got through it.
that's
At
I
the
mean
end of the
that
night, we were, sipping hot chocolate and brandy and
yeah.
whatever. But
I
so it
mean,
was, the
basically, it's
France was a
like,
good time.
yeah, basically, is a single, is a piece of, is a music that has been shooting and I can say all over the globe because going through United States and Europe, it took a little bit of here, and we can say the essence of heavy metal from all over the world. Then you can
Yes,
say,
yes, that's a very good point because,
yeah,
Ron, when he contacted me, he originally was writing more
okay,
background music to be a little bit more of that style, like leaning towards the Burning Rain or something.
okay,
But really, he's a European metal guy, And after a little while, he said, "Hey, Keith, would you mind I send you some of these heavier, more Europe kind of tracks?"
Yeah,
And
like trashy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he said, "Sing it your way. You don't need to do the grunting or the whatever." So we did that, and actually continuing from there, I think the vibe became unique and better. So it's kind of a combination of that sort of very aggressive drumming meets kind of what I do with dynamics. I do a lot, with dynamics, ups and downs. People know I like to do sort of almost like a metal Robert Plant thing,
Yeah, exactly. But it's like your way of singing is, because it's not like I don't listen to a band and say, okay, this sounds like it's your voice. I can't. It's your sound. It's your melody. It's your voice. So you can. Everyone
knows.
Do
anything. Exactly.
And that's why as well I wanted to ask you, because I never asked you that. I think no. With all these bands that you play, okay, that background is kind of similar, but as well you have a lot of influences coming from a lot of musicians, and as well playing in a lot of bands that could sound similar, but as well they have a lot of influences for people who really understand hard rock and heavy metal.
Absolutely.
This influence your way of singing? Or you just kept like your way of singing? What exactly influenced your way of singing? Or if the people, the music surrounding, or if just keep on going by your own way?
Lots of times, yeah, I kind of went by my own way, and I was I was a kind of hippie out of time, way out of the hippie days when I was coming up, especially once I got out here in LA, and I still was wearing the bell bottoms, and stuff. And, everything was, everyone had been focused on the 80s. And when I met Ronnie Montrose, I didn't know who Montrose band was really. He just looking for a guy to write songs with, new songs. And I met him, we developed a relationship. We went over each other's houses and wrote stuff and recorded, and we're doing all that and working up an album when he got approached to put together another Montrose band again by Steve Miller's manager, Scott Bourret, at the time. And then he came to me and asked me, because he thought my voice would be good. And I just sang it like me. We just went into a studio and I tried singing it. And I just did whatever I do. Yeah. And it was just a stroke of lightning, that my voice broke up kind of the way Sammy's does, and people liked it.
Was right, yeah.
The first couple of shows, and fans were just like, really happy. So it just kind of worked. And he was the same way. It was kind of in a way, he had kind of a hippie sort of drifter kind of mind, and not the greatest thing for business, but
but it's your own unique sound. Like I told you, there's not other Keith St.John around here. There's just only you, because that's what is your personality, is who you are. That's why, for example, a lot of time that I showed these, for example, let's say for example, some Burning Rains video clip or music, and I showed these two people never heard. That's like, oh, these are new band. I'm like, this is a new band. You maybe did, because they didn't see who is playing in the band. So it's so refreshing, and everyone play like. This is the first time that is new, but it's not new. It's.
I know.
Yeah, and
we're the best kept secret in the metal crowd.
Just let me know the secrets.
We're the best kept secret, and the fans are very diehard. The fans stay there, and they keep asking year after year, and they want us to do more all the time, and we want to do more. But
and what are you doing, Burning Rain, right now?
Well, right now Doug is in a band that takes up a lot of time, and it's very busy, called the Dead Daisies.
Yes, of course, the band.
They're very active. They record a lot, and I believe they feel, and even Doug is part of the feeling, that while they're doing this band, they need to keep a lid on everybody, keep everybody in the band, so that they're not coming off like guys who are in different bands and different projects. So we did do our last record during the Dead Daisies, but they were taking a significant amount of time off,
of course,
where the management thought, okay, this is a good time, go ahead, do Burning Rain right now. and that worked out for our last record, which I'm very grateful for because
Yeah,
it
that's
was a cool
beautiful.
record.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, Doug and I knocked those records out pretty quickly. I mean, we could make an album every year.
I mean, yeah, of course, everyone needs time. I mean, as well for develop and in do other experience and play and do other projects. Of course, I can understand that it's normal because, of course, if you even the biggest musician, I don't know if we take, I don't know, Iron Maidens or other bands have, they had their own side project. But I think that having a career like a singer like you, I mean, like you said, you are paintballing all over the places, and we can say that Keith St.John is singer of that. It's like you are a singer. That's it. I mean, it's your
Yeah.
career. It's. I mean, we got. I mean, every next time I'm gonna ask you some updating. Just you because you know more than anyone else. I mean, even if I just just like try to read the news, there is something news going on.
There's always stuff,
Yeah.
behind the scenes, and us band guys, like
Yeah.
like my new friend Todd Kearns, especially. I mean,
Yeah.
he's on top of it. If I want to know something that's going on, like in, say something he's connected
Yeah.
in, like the Kiss world, like he hears everything that's going on,
Yeah, and I hear they play. I mean, of course, Palermo in Sicily is a small place, and seeing this huge band, I was like, who? I didn't know them. The Heroes and Monsters, and then I just looked it up for a little bit of who was playing in this band, and I saw Todd Kearns, and I say mutual friends, like, what the fuck? I say, the fact that small is so the world is so small that I saw a
It
picture with
is.
you, and even said that's Keith, that's Blast. So, and I told him while we were doing the interview, and I said, we have a friend in common. He says hi to him. He said, greetings back. Yeah.
Yes, and by the way, Todd's played bass on something of mine too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, really?
yeah, just recently, like a month ago. Yeah.
Oh my God, what's going? Can you tell something, some little detail about it?
Well, it's like a second home. Well,
Okay.
actually, Vegas is Todd's home. It's like a second home for me. So, I mean, when you're at home, a lot of times you reach out to
Yeah.
the people at home,
Yeah.
and these are your friends, and it's like, hey, man, yeah, let's just get together and do it. I recently connected with so many people out in Las Vegas that I didn't know
Yeah.
were there, that sort of just moved out from LA either during COVID or recently
Okay.
after. And it's unbelievable how many Los Angeles musicians are out there now.
So it's basically like we can say the old scene from the 80s moved and 90s moved to Vegas, basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Another guy
yeah.
playing with Rock Vault right now is Jizzy
Yeah.
Pearl. Do you know Jizzy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, how many people? Next one will be, I don't know, Lauren Lewis.
He's maybe kind of another pinball guy in a way. But he's been singing with Quiet Riot live for a
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about that because I heard that at the beginning that Rudy, because I had an interview with Rudy as well, speaking about, of course, reforming Quiet Riot again. He called you, right? So I mean,
yeah.
it was so I wanted to know a little bit about that because, of course, talking with Rudy, and of course, after the sadly death of the drum. I mean, but
Frankie.
he put the band, he put the band of Banali, he put the band together. But I heard as well that he called you at the beginning.
They called me.
Yeah.
Frankie had also called me years ago, which he mentioned in his movie that he made, that he called me. But when he called me the first time, it wasn't the right time for me.
Okay.
Like I said, I just want to sing the way I sing and kind of have it work. And I feel strongly that singing Kevin DuBrose's parts and the songs the way he sang them is a very important role for Quiet Riot. And I don't feel I was the guy to work up that sound.
Really humble for you to say that, yeah.
And the way Kevin's actions are very larger than life, and his voice is really, really distinct. And I just at that point in time, I wasn't ready to be that guy. And I said, Frankie, because I had been friends with Frankie for a while, and believe me, his passing was like I lost an arm, man. I mean, that was really, really, really hard.
I remember he had as well another project, Heavy Bones, back in the 90s with Joel Ellis. Yeah.
He was such a good man. I mean, he was so honest and also so great in business. He was fierce, but also outside of business, he was the best storyteller. He was so funny.
It's
Um,
beautiful. That's really beautiful.
One day when we have time, I'll tell you some of the stories he told me that are just get you laughing. And it's really fun. It's very odd that Frankie and Rudy wound up in the same band back there in the 80s, because meeting Rudy for the first time back in the early 90s in LA was because he asked me to join a band of his called Sun King.
Yeah.
And I did. And I won't go into the details because we don't have time, but in the beginning,
we should do a live next time. We do a live,
yes, live for sure.
We have all the
live
time
for
we
sure.
want.
And so we're going to get some of these people and bring them into the interview.
Of course, I can ask Rudy or just I don't know, Lauren Lewis. I don't know if she has something to do with that.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Let's put it there.
but Rudy, okay, so I lived in West Hollywood, and Rudy did too. He lived in Franklin Towers at the time, and he would drive us. He would pick me up, or I would go to his place, and he would drive us over to the rehearsal studio every day, over the hill to the valley, which I didn't really know what the valley was yet at that time, and we would talk. We would talk about life and philosophy, and
he's a deep thinker. He's a deep thinker,
and that's the way I was my whole life growing up. I was that kid, like back in the corner under the table with my drawing pad and my my mathematical stuff that I was into as a young kid and all that stuff. And even as a high school kid, I was like always talking about the philosophies of life.
Exactly,
religions, and I was that kind of a curious kid. So when I met Rudy in LA, I was like, wow, what are you doing here? Like in this town, right? Because that's kind of not what you think of when you think of LA in the 80s and all that. So we had some great talks, and he taught me a lot about the business, and
he has a lot of knowledge about how everything started.
Yes.
And then still being so humble.
He is a smart cat, though. He's humble as hell, but he is a sharp cat. And Frankie was the same way. He wasn't as humble, but I mean, he's sharp as a tack, man. And both of those guys I learned a lot from. Anyway. We can go on tangents and it'll just go forever.
But of course, I mean, today is you. I mean, Keith, if you, for example, we would like to say, who is Keith today? Like, I mean, you experience a lot, you learn and traveled a lot. If you want to choose like an adjective, let's say one randomly, who is Keith in one word?
My objective is this, and it's very clear. I need to stop derailing my own music that I'm making by keeping on doing these fun other projects for other people. I love everything that I've been doing. It's great. It's a good time. It's fun to meet people, and I'm all about that. But I write like a maniac. I write my own stuff, and I believe in it, and it's good stuff. So I really, really need to spend the next couple of years putting out a few records of my own.
I mean, it would be time.
The other day with now Blas is working on some of my stuff, and Todd just played, like I said, and I'm getting it done and starting to
That's good. I mean, when everything will be settled in the future, let's have a huge interview with all the people involved. Just let's say that.
Oh, it'll be amazing.
I mean, like it will be like an interview for every year, but we have to do an interview in person once for sure, because it can't be all the time.
I'm ready. Your energy is so good. I miss you.
Me too. I mean, I was really like, I'm basically speaking your words here, like spreading your music, like, oh, listen that. And the people get like, really, of course, people like, a lot of people hear like this vibe about the 60s and the 70s in your voice. But when they heard the background, they say, well, something's missed, like something that is in the 80s. That's something that I think it's really particular of your sound, that you have that vibes, but as well, you have the sound from the 80s and the 90s. So it's basically all the hard rock, the field of the hard rock.
Yes, exactly. That's where the roots come from.
Yeah, it's not only the hippie side. It's just like the hard rock, we can say the heavy metal, the beginning of the 90s hard rock, which is of course different when we had, I don't know, the late Whitesnake, Slaughters. So it's a different type of hard rock as well. Yeah, but
absolutely.
So if we want to say about the current project of you, like for example, tomorrow and the next month, what the fan can expect? Yeah.
Tomorrow and the next month. Well, I am working on, like I said, the Ron Coolin album, and the first video release is coming up, Heavy Metal Till I'm Dead. I'm also working on the Desert Dragon video.
So there are two projects.
The song that I'm working on that I think is going to be really, really cool to put out is a song. It's a parody song, kind of. It's called Swamp Thing.
A Swamp Thing. Okay.
Swamp Thing. So, and it's kind of like, maybe not in the rest of the band's mind, but in my mind, it's kind of almost like that song Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay.
Where it's just
interesting. Yeah.
Bang in a hard rock kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, and
that looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So those things are on my plate right now. Got to get them done. Raiding the Rock Vault is to the Hard Rock Cafe.
A Rock Cafe.
Officially now. Perfect. So we're going to move over there. So that transition is going to take a little effort out of me. And the Keith St.John stuff that I told you about that I'm working on is I'm going to work on that as much as possible.
Yeah. So before everything shut down to us, I just have to say really thank you, Keith, and really looking forward to do then other interviews. But next time we make an event live. So we just involve all the fans and people. So we have as well, live question. We involve fan. It's a good thing as well. And other musician. We can do something really fun. Well,
let's do it if we can. Let's do it on location, and we get a camera crew.
I would love that.
2 camera guys and 1 drone, and then another guy who can punch in a guest if we need.
Yeah, perfect.
And, we go to wherever.
Yeah,
we go to pick a city.
I'm open for everything. Now I can travel anytime I want. So
we go to Rome, or
everywhere. Anyway. Paris, Munich, I don't know, Norway. Maybe Norway is too cold. Let's say all around the same equator. Okay, so thank you so much, Keith.
If we go in the summertime, let's go. Yeah. We'll go up to Scandinavia. Why not?
Well, so thank you so much. And again, I will let you know about everything, and we'll stay in touch as always. And thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Ada. Poisoned Rock, everybody.
Thank you from the heart.
Forever, till I'm dead. Poison Rock till I'm dead.
Thank you so much. I love you, Keith. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Ciao.